Good evening. This one is directed in particular to people on integral life. I've been having a hard time explaining sort of some of the ideas about quadratic development and trilectics and so forth. From not in the way that Brian O'Connell was explaining it. And I agree. I think Brian is more advanced in his understanding of these things, but my approach is a little different, and I want to flesh it out in a way that has not been fleshed out. So I got a whiteboard here, and try to show you just the reasoning behind what I am trying to present. So in particular, what I've been thinking of is like kind of starting with a point, sort of A equals A, sort of the fundamental ground of all things from which all things sprang, and then drawing a circle around it. And this you see sort of in a lot of kind of early magical pre-rational traditions. So like in infrared sort of thinking, when you're within the circle, you're kind of a magician and so forth. And you might have seen the snake that's eating its own tail, and kind of representative of the duality here between the part and the whole. Sort of this dot you can almost think of in my mind as sort of individuality in its first essence, and then the snake as sort of, I don't know if you can see it very well. I'm sorry, I'm using black. And then the snake sort of as inclusive of that. So it's the first kind of embrace. And then the next move is, and it's actually three-dimensional, but I can't draw it. It would be a pyramid inside of that, essentially. And so what this logic is a logic of hierarchies, and this is maybe what Brian was talking about with trilectics. Like, you have the head, the heart, and the mind, and the hands, or the core. Head, heart, and core within the circle. And then this is your essence, your center point, in a sense. The eye of the needle also is a word that I've been thinking of, and I'll connect this in a moment to vortex math. And then another division you can make, drawing down here in the center, is like your brain, in a sense. It's the left side and the right side, and then so you got your head, and it's split right down the middle of being both. This is sort of objectivity, this is sort of subjectivity, and this is both. And then what we see is something like this, maybe. Infinity symbol, crossing right through the center point. And up here, we have, well, we have in a sense the four quadrants, maybe. This is just an idea. And so you have subjectivity, and is dying, intersubjectivity with the heart, notice that subjectivity is closer to the head, but it's more heady. And then this one we go down, drawn out first with the pyramid, you get our intersubjectivity, and so it's moving this way. Intersubjectivity, then over to objectivity, and interobjectivity. Now these are always ever present, but they're always there, and there would be more, I think, layers on top of this. But it actually, you have to develop to actually recognize it. So the way I'm looking at this is like the dot is sort of like the first matter, like the Big Bang, and then nicely this circle kind of represents sort of maybe the snake, the reptile, impulsivity, the first sort of early life forms, and and then when you get to the triangle, I'm thinking like the first animals and their sort of societies where they have sort of hierarchies of relationships to some extent. And then with this, this point is red, amber, orange, and green. So subjectivity, intersubjectivity, objectivity, interobjectivity. But notice that, of course, again, these four quadrants are ever present. They're always there, but you have to develop to objectivity to actually recognize there is objectivity. You have to develop to interobjectivity to actually recognize interobjectivity. And this is where it gets kind of interesting in my mind, potentially. It was just a thought. So let's say that kind of collectively within North America, we're kind of right here, just getting close to like a proper interobjectivity. So like, we have, you go back 20,000 years ago, and the culture's mode of discourse within the mind realm, within the mental, is just self-recognizing oneself. Who am I? I am a being, sort of. So everything revolves around that. But yet you have another. This subjectivity actually stems from, well, really the core. This center point, which might equate in a sense to the states. Now, this is how we might be able to parallel this also with states of consciousness. So this is actually like causal state. This is the subtle state. This is the what we might call this would be the astral state. Sorry. No, wait. Yeah, subtle state, astral, and then this is gross, or what we call gross. And then we're actually adding potentially a new state when we fully inject interobjectivity into reality. So what I'm saying is that potentially, in some form, when minds merge in interobjectivity, we are rationalized beings, self-aware, objective individuals, which went through subjectivity, intersubjectivity, and objectivity to get here, which is a pattern that was evolution was like where this one would be just subjectivity. This one would be just intersubjectivity, just relationships. This one is just objectivity, and then objectivity, and this one is interobjectivity. And that's actually a spiral. Again, this is sort of 3 dimensions, so you can actually imagine it going outwards like this. The figure 8, it actually doesn't connect here. It's going up and beyond and expanding. So the actual interobjectivity is the connection of consciousnesses, potentially, individuated objective consciousnesses into an interobjective mode where this would be sort of the mammalian intersubjectivity. Now it's consciously aware interconnectivity, something like that. That's pretty far out, but I hope you understand. Any questions, please ask. Thanks, guys.